Many of the things that could go wrong in the economy have gone wrong, exposing government finances to a number of risks. The economy is growing at a weaker than expected level, while the cost of borrowing has increased for both consumers and the state amid the high inflation environment. On average, 20 cents of every rand collected in government revenue each year is needed to service debt. Financial conditions at state-owned enterprises have worsened, and the public sector wage bill has grown more than expected, while there are growing social security needs. Finance Minister Enoch Godongwana will have to present a plan of government for the next 3 years that will bring credibility to public finances. Economists say the medium-term budget policy statement will likely see some deterioration in terms of government revenue, expenditure, and borrowing.
The minister is going to be in a tight bind because he will have to strike a good balance between the very high expenditure needs and falling revenue collections. On the expenditure side, we know that the main constraint will be the higher than budgeted for public sector wage bill. In the February budget, the budgeted amount was only an increase of 1.6%, and we saw an amount of 7.5%, which adds almost 38 billion to the wage bill alone. And there are other expenditure increases, that service bill is higher than expected.
It's estimated that revenue shortfall will be as much as 60 billion rands. Revenue collection is negatively affected by the load shedding impacting on economic performance. Consumers facing the cost of living pressures will also translate to less revenue at municipal level.
We know that many municipalities or local governments have unfunded budgets. There's a lot of things that they need to get done over the next 3 years that they don't have revenue for, especially because of many of their customers who have gone off the grid, for example, for water and for electricity. And that actually a lot of them, their customers now are also unable to pay, given the consumer pressures that are being faced. So, finding that municipalities are struggling and they're going to really depend on the state. And of course, we also know those contingent liabilities, for example, that the government has committed in supporting Eskom. They've committed to paying for some of those unpaid bills by Eskom customers. There's also concerns around Transnet, and we've heard recently that Transnet is going to ask for a bailout.
Finance Minister Enoch Godongwana has already indicated the need to implement cost-cutting measures to bring sustainability to government finances. Economists, however, warn that cutting on infrastructure spending could have a negative effect on growth in the long run.
If people ask me what can be done for the government to save money, we have to start with the government, reduce the number of cabinet positions and ministries, and at the same time, reduce the number of government departments. In my view, we should start with the Department of State-Owned Enterprises. That has really not helped at all to get state-owned enterprises in better shape, has not helped to turn them around. And really, I have to doubt the reason why that department exists at all.
It's expected the budget deficit will be higher than was estimated in February. In the February budget, National Treasury had said it expected that the budget deficit for this financial year will be at around 4% of GDP. But economists now say this is unrealistic and that it will likely rise to at least 5% of GDP. Gloria Sefako Musi, SABC News, Johannesburg.